Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. I am Diana Clarion, the Lavender Lady, and this is Coffee with Lavender. How the heck are you? I hope you guys don't mind the new studio here. Let me know what you think of it. And unfortunately, as I put in the side chat, Kate won't be with us this I guess this afternoon. Let me put it that way. It's 1 p.m. here in Pennsylvania. Um, there was a bit of a scheduling conflict. She had the wrong week in mind, so we'll just Neil and I will fly, and we won't. Yeah, I'll have the left-hand seat. He'll have the right-hand seat. We won't have a navigator, so who the hell knows where we'll end up? He's scarfing down a what? Let me bring you in here. What is that you're eating? What's the breakfast?
It's called grilled bagel breakfast sandwich.
Oh, yay! That
It's
sounds
got egg and bacon and cheese, and I just go for the plain bagel.
all right then. That sounds
Yeah.
decent. At least you're getting breakfast. Hell, it's the start of the day.
Well, yeah, for me it definitely is because you're a few hours ahead of me, so or a couple
It's
hours ahead.
1,300 hours here, so it's what 1,000 hours where you are.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So
Um, a
bit of a
little,
difference there.
yeah, just a little bit, a little background for the folks at home. Um, when I was interviewed on Truth Wanted, what was it? A week ago already, wasn't it, Neil? When you
Yep.
called it, yeah. One of the callers spoke of his preference for adoption over giving birth. He suggested that it might be good for it to be a first choice over giving birth. Well, of course, understand it. Somebody has to give birth for somebody else to adopt, but that's beside the point.
Hmm.
Um, but Neil later on said, "Hey, Diana, you want to do a show on adoption?" And hey, I'm all for it because you are adopted, Neil, are you not?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
I am. And Kate was also
Okay.
saying, yeah, she is also adopted. So
Yeah.
we were going to have three people talking about experiences and such with being adopted. Well, there's going to be two of us doing it now. I hope that'll suffice. Um, but if you feel like it, Neil, you want to give us a little background to get started.
Mm. Keep talking while I finish this pipe.
Oh, sure, no problem at all. Yeah, I am an adopted child. Those two adopted me in, I believe it might have been January of 1958. I was born in July of 1957, so there was a little bit of time. Yeah, my baptismal record, they raised me Roman Catholic, showed that I was baptized in February of 1958. My assumption, which may or may not be correct, was that they would have had me christened as soon as they got me home, or very, very shortly thereafter, which would have been my second time around, because I'm sure that I was baptized at the infants and children's home. But you give the
Mm.
family that right of welcoming, that sort of thing.
Well,
So
wait a second.
yes, dear.
Um, they would have baptized you in the hospital?
Um, Not necessarily in the hospital. My assumption is that, excuse me, when I was given up and placed in the infants and children's home, that's when I would
Oh,
have been baptized. The children's home was a Catholic institution.
gotcha.
It doesn't exist anymore, but at the time it was called DePaul Infants and Children's Home on the east side
Mm.
of Cleveland. And I'm assuming, and again, I may be wrong, but when has that never happened, right? Um, that I would have been given up shortly after birth, just because of the what little I know of the circumstances. We can get into that later if we want to. Well, why don't we get into it now as far as that goes? I am told, I'm not sure how anybody knew, but I'm told that at my birth, my biological mother was a 23-year-old student nurse. So I'm just extrapolating, and I figure, okay, that probably means that bio dad was an intern, and I was conceived in a medical supply closet. It would. It
It's
would.
just Gurney in the hallway. Let's just use that.
Yeah, you got it. You've got it, sweetness. I mean, not to pat myself on the back or anything, but that might explain the well over room temperature IQ, for example, which I retained despite all efforts of those two to beat it out of me. So I guess there's something to be said for nature over nurture. And,
Yeah.
what can I say? But it was, I'm wondering if I was adopted late because of the flu epidemic of 1957. I may have been a sickly kid. I don't know offhand. I cannot get my hands on any records like that. So,
Yeah, I think they keep that shit zipped up because I couldn't find records for mine either. So,
okay. Something I'm curious about. I discovered that because I was born prior to 1964, under Ohio law, I was able to request and receive my original birth certificate. Some sort of legislation that has everything 64 and later sealed. But those of us who came under the wire prior to that were able to. And I was thinking of it and I never got around to it. And it would probably be all sorts of fresh hell to do it now. Because I have a name that's a little bit different than the one that's on my birth certificate, all right? Oh, my. But, okay, do you have anything like that in Canada? With the, with any, sealed, unsealed legislation like that?
like you, I think it was pretty much the same here as it was there. Up until a certain point, all adoption or birth records were held until until at some point, I think they said, okay, we can release this now.
Okay.
But that didn't happen until after the 80s.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it didn't happen until like somewhere in the 90s, I guess. And I sort of was looking for a long time myself and never got any information. I couldn't get them to give me any information. So everything was zipped up tight until some point when I guess some Freedom of Information Act or Information Act happened at some point that I don't really recall when, but apparently we could get access to it at that point.
Yeah, well, obviously you did get some access to some information by hook or by crook, because if I remember correctly, you say that you had met, was it both your biological parents or simply your father, biological father?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you don't mind. Now, if you do mind, tell me to shut the hell up. But if you don't mind, how did that happen?
That's it was probably it was in the year 2000, and
all right, Andy Richter is coming to my mind, but if you remember Letterman doing that year 2000 stuff, but okay,
oh yeah,
back on track here.
I'd come home from work. I'd just gotten out of the shower, basically had the towel still wrapped around this is before cell phones were a real thing. I mean, there were cell phones, but we still had a landline, and my landline's ringing, and I'm running holding my towel together, running to the shower or to the phone to answer it. And I pick up the phone, and it's hi or hello, and it's hi, is this Neil? I'm like, yeah. Neil Bernstein? And right away I'm thinking, uh-oh, bill collectors.
Yeah, it's always
I'm like,
that.
yeah. Well, back then, yeah, it probably was. Um, yeah, who's this? And there's a little bit of a pause. She goes, she's like, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm like, you could just spit it out. She goes, I'm your sister. I'm like, wait, what? Because like I know what my sister sounds like, and that wasn't my sister. And I'm like, wait a second. And she's like, yeah, I'm your birth sister. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? And my knees at that moment
Just
went.
sort of, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Did you
I had to
actually hit
sit.
the deck?
No, I had to sit though. My
Okay.
everything went weak, and emotions started coming all over the place, and I was just like, holy shit, what? She goes, yeah, and I'm here with your other biological sister,
Holy shit,
and your
man.
biological mother is sitting here with us. I'm like,
Oh,
wait.
Lord.
She goes, yeah, it's kind of a story, so we should probably meet up. And I'm like, yeah, right, sure, yeah, let's do that. So we met up the next day, and both my mom and my dad got married because when they had me, as you know, as I always like to brag about, that I was conceived in the back seat of a '57 Chevy.
Yeah.
What they told me, so which is awesome. I'm like, yeah, no wonder I like that car. You know, the weird thing about that is my adopted father was saving for his firstborn son a '57 Chevy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, until his birth mom, or his mom, sorry, his birth mom, sorry, the whole birth thing is going on in my head right now.
All right.
Said, no, we're moving up to Montreal. He lived in Florida at the time. Florida man sells car. No,
Okay, then.
he had to sell it, so he couldn't keep it, right? Which was really shitty because I could have had a '57 Chevy Bel Air hardtop, original factory colors. I know,
Oh, man.
I know, 2-door as well. Yeah, unbelievable. That car could have been mine. I cry a little bit every night when I think about that.
Yeah,
But anyways,
my cousin had a '57 Chevy. I think it was the original red and white.
no, the original was teal and white.
Teal and
blue.
white. Okay,
That was the
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have given it a big job, but that's okay. I would have painted the whole damn thing flat black and put scary shit all over it.
All right.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
I met up with them. They came out, and it turns out my folks got married because after they had me, they came from staunch Catholic backgrounds, and sex outside of marriage, and then of course pregnancy outside of marriage was very, very taboo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so they put me up for adoption. I was adopted by a Jewish family, so I was raised in the Jewish faith. But anyways, yeah, and then we met up and we went to a little restaurant in here. It's funny how it's only in Canada too, but they call it Boston pizza.
Okay, then imported.
Yeah. We import our people. No, I think there's a Boston style of pizza or something that they model themselves
Oh
after.
my, that's a new one on me. So you've got New York, Chicago, and Boston.
I guess. I don't know.
Next thing you know, they'll come up with a Cleveland pizza, and I don't want to try that
Cleveland
shit.
Yeah, right. Anyways, so we went out and they're all like staring at me. It's just like, holy shit, he looks like Uncle so and so, and he looks a little bit like Auntie so and so, and they're telling. I'm like, I don't know who these people are, kind of thing. But anyways, we ended up getting together with my adopted parents, with them, and together, and everything was great. So I've been in their lives, and they've been in mine since about 2000. So that's almost 20 years now, which is almost
wonderful.
Half my life now, right? So almost.
Yeah, almost.
Right? Another few years, and it'll, I'll have known them for about half my life.
You're 41 now, right?
Yeah, that's right. 29.
Yeah, there you are.
So, but what's really cool is there's members of my biological family that don't know life without me in it.
Oh my!
That have come into the world with me already being in the family.
Hey, that's nice.
Right?
I like that.
Like my little nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews and stuff like that are coming around now. Then they'll never know the DeRozier family, because that's my biological last name, without me in their lives, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty darn cool. Now, if you don't, that brings up a little question. Did you ever not know that you were adopted?
Oh no, I was told probably my parents were pretty cool about that. Um, I want to say around 6 or 7. I was told, right? And I think
Okay.
that's about when kids can first sort of start to get an idea or comprehend what it's about. So they they told me at that time too that they wanted to tell me as early as possible, right? So
Yeah.
that they I would know
Yeah.
about it.
Because I do not remember not knowing, so that had to have been rather early that I was told. Perhaps
Mm,
4 or 5, something like that. Um,
maybe.
but yeah, as I say, I just never knew. I'm
Right.
sorry, I never did not know that I was adopted. Yeah, let's get that right.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the few cool things that those two did.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's great that they're upfront and honest about that because a lot of people might um, not want to do that because they're afraid. What if the kid says, "Oh shit," you know? Then the depression might set in because my original parents didn't want me, or which wasn't the case probably in either of ours. Because
I'm gonna
sometimes,
guess. Yeah, I'm gonna guess
you know,
that my biological parents wanted me, but under the
but
circumstances were
could
forced to give me
yeah,
up. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. And my birth mom, she had told me, she said, "Yeah, I would have kept you if I could have, but we couldn't do it at the time. It's just one of those things, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
especially with the whole Catholic circumstances and that whole thing.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, one family I knew that lived a couple units down at the row house where I was living, they are Puerto Rican, and when their daughter got pregnant here in the mainland, I shouldn't say here in the U.S. I'm sounding like Donald Trump. Uh, their thing was
Don't do that.
yeah, they sent their daughter to Puerto Rico and said, "You're before the birth," and they said, "You are coming back the way you left." In other words, leave the kid behind.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Wow,
they
really?
were roaring Catholics, so I get that point.
So we have that little bit of a connection there, like that for sure. The whole Catholicism playing an influence on our birth.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that it played a role in my being given up, because being placed in a Catholic infants and children's home, I'm assuming that at least Biomom was Catholic,
Mm.
that sort of
Hmm.
thing. But
Well, for me, it's my birth dad, whose mother was very staunch Catholic. And it's weird. I went first time I went to their house to meet them and some of the other family members that have all suddenly apparently came out of the woodwork just to meet me. My biological grandmother, my father's mother, when I met her, she looked like stunned. Apparently, she didn't really know anything about me and that I had even existed.
oh my,
And she's sitting, well, because she was the one that the shit would have hit the fan if she found out, right?
okay,
And here's the thing that kind of got me all welling up and stuff like that when I met her. I'm sitting with her and she's holding my hand and she goes, I look at you now and I see the wonderful person that you are, because we'd already talked for a while and stuff too. And she goes, I hate that I was that person back then, and I wish that you would have been in my life the whole time.
oh wow, oh
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And that really touched me. So we gave her a big hug and a kiss. And, you know, I mean, she's gone now, of course. And it was really, really hard to see her lose her mind as she was going because she ended up with
Oh
like
no.
Alzheimer's and stuff. Yeah. Apparently, I scared her a little bit because didn't know me at all at that point. Right. So when we went to visit her, she would always giving me looks of fear and stuff like that. But my dad had to remind her who I was, right?
Okay. And then, yeah, you not being in the long term memory, yeah, that memory
Right.
would not have survived Alzheimer's or anything like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it was so new. I mean, it had been years since, right? She passed away in 2014, I think. Yeah, about 2013 or 2014. And she yeah, I'm pretty sure, because my birth mom passed away in 2013 as well. Because her and my dad were down in Yuma, Arizona, because they go down there every year. We call them snowbirds. They like to go down there to the sun, right? Yeah, they go down like there's. And she was on the computer, and my dad went for a nap. And about 25 minutes later, he got up and was calling her name. There was no answer, so he's like, "What the fuck? That's odd." So he got up and he went out there, and she was already gone, and leaned over the computer. I guess an embolism or something, or an aneurysm. Just took her like that, right? Yeah, it's yeah. Hey, and then we lost my biological sister as well, one of them, in a motorcycle accident a few years back.
Oh, I remember you posting about her. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just happy that I got to meet them all before that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I never got that chance, or at least up until this point. I mean, I put a few things out in some of the registries. Didn't get anything out of them, and as I say, it was only a few years ago that I discovered that I could get the original birth certificate from the state of Ohio. Yeah, they'll give me the original birth certificate. They just won't let me amend the gender marker on it.
What? Why?
Because they're assholes that way.
Oh, it's fucking stupid.
I mean,
it's one letter that has to change. People, does that cost too much in the government or something?
Well, yes, the Mason-Dixon line takes a severe turn north around, somewhere between Cincinnati and Marietta, and it goes up to Lake Erie, and it comes back down. Oh man. Yeah, Ohio is very, very red.
Is it?
Oh yeah, there are enclaves of sanity in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. And as I like to say, the rest of the state is as red as a used tampon on a heavy flow day. It's sort of like Pennsylvania.
That's quite the analogy.
Oh my, that is totally amazing, though. It's I don't know if anybody would still be around or not. I was told, I think I said it that birth mom was 23 when I was born.
Yeah.
So right. She'd be 85 now, and there'd be some question: is this lady still around or not? And then the other question of, would any of the blood relatives, biological family, would they want to see me? There's always that question. It's interesting that, maybe, I don't know, do you consider yourself lucky that you didn't have to fight the system?
For what?
With, wait a minute. Oh no, please don't do this to me. I had a line of questioning in my mind and it's gone. This was happening to me some time ago as a result of it was a bad side effect of a medication I was taking at the time. I hope it doesn't happen like this again. Okay, let's just draw the line there, and I may come up with it later, and let's go wherever we need to go right now.
Are you referring to maybe like, would I have to fight red tape now to find out if I hadn't already met them?
Yeah, okay, that might be where I was headed. Yeah.
No, apparently it's a lot easier now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Where they came to you rather than you trying to get to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, oh boy. Oh well.
Yeah, they I was contacted by them, so I guess they dug out the information. And let's face it, in 2000, it was probably a lot easier to find that information than it was when I was looking in the 80s, right? So.
Oh yeah. That I
Oh,
can
you want to
tell
know the
you.
weird thing? My biological dad was working for a company called Save On Foods or Overweighty. They're a company that's merged, and so he moved all over the province as manager of stores. And at one time, they literally lived around the corner from me.
Holy shit! Oh
Yeah,
man!
in the same area where I was in Richmond. They lived in the same area for I think about a year and a bit.
Oh, that's amazing. You very likely passed each other on the sidewalk more than once and had no idea.
Could be. My biological mom at the time had said that she was always looking at little boys to see, is that him? Is that him? Kind of like you never know, right?
Okay,
No,
okay.
but yeah, that's kind of funny that we were in the same neck of the woods for about a year, and I don't really remember meeting anyone. But anyway,
That would have been really interesting had the story that occasionally comes up on Jerry Springer turned into a reality. You know, you're dating some girl and then you find out she's your sister.
my sisters both both of them and I were laughing about that too. I said, "Geez, it's a good thing we didn't meet up at a party at some point." And yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, that would have been weird."
A little bit. Oh man.
It could have happened because both my sisters are very pretty ladies, right? So
Okay, then yes, I do remember the photo of the sister that died in the motorcycle
yeah,
accident, and yeah,
yeah.
I sometimes fantasize
Yeah,
that
Trina was.
I find the biological family, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. And it turns out that bio mom eventually came out as a bold dyke. Bio dad was a drag queen, and I got two trans siblings. That would be beautiful. A little confirmation of nature over nurture there, but it doesn't happen until I go looking or something like that.
True,
Oh man.
true.
Yeah, and then that would be interesting as well. See, I find Biomom, and with well, of course, there's the door opens, guy leans his head out. Hi, I'm looking for my mother. Honey, is there something you haven't told me? Because he ended up marrying somebody else. But after that, okay, where was I going with this again? Um, the craziness, yeah, the craziness of history as far as that goes. But that would be a lot of fun to, find these people and discover that yeah they're my. Oh, that's where I was headed for. And she comes to the door and, but I had a son. Yeah, you did. You thought you did.
Voila.
Oh my word, my word, my word. Yeah, I was looking at a few things here, there, and everywhere on the whole adoption thing, and one of the things I found out is that the length of time it takes to have a child placed with you varies greatly. It seems that healthy infants, boys especially, are in great demand. They're very, very highly prized.
Boys,
Yeah, let's see, healthy white boys,
of course.
infants, yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, it goes down from there. It might take 10 years to have a healthy white male infant placed with you, whereas a child with special needs might take you only a few months.
Hmm.
Um, and that's says something about the society of the author that wrote that article or whatever. I don't know if it's common throughout the first world or anything like that, but
Who knows?
It's very telling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But the other one is, I don't. Do you know of? And have you talked with or anything cases beyond your own? Referring back
I've
to
heard.
the opening, where it seems that a lot of people regard adoption as a second choice. They want the biological kid, but if they can't
Yeah.
have one,
I think.
then they
I
start
think
thinking about it.
natural. I think it's natural to want your own genetics. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just driven for that. We're just programmed to want to procreate, to carry on our own genes. Like that's part of our evolutionary programming. Which is why men are such dogs and want to put their seed wherever they can, right?
Oh my word! I mean, there's a slight digression here, but
Well,
I at the soup kitchen I've mentioned a number of times where I would have my meal of the day. I'm in line waiting for the cafeteria line to open, that sort of thing, and everybody's talking about their kids. I made the mistake of saying, "Am I the only one in this room who doesn't have kids?" Everyone turned with, "What?" And one of the guys in the line right behind me said, "Oh, I spread my seed everywhere." You know, it's like, okay.
some for you, some for you, some for you.
Now, this isn't to say, I mean, I have no idea how many little me's there are running around back before I got my vasectomy, that sort of thing. But, you never know. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I don't know of any, so that's if there are none, that's a good thing. Um, for them as well as me. I mean, who would want me as a parent? It's like, okay,
Oh,
put that parent up for adoption. Get her out of here. But one thing I noticed that may or may not contribute is that there are some limitations on who will be considered for placement, considered to be an adoptive parent.
yeah, yeah.
Let's see if I did this right.
My parents went through that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, once that adopted me, they're put on a list, and that was even back then in the '60s, right? So they were put on a list, and they wanted a boy first,
Oh yeah.
and then they were going to adopt again later because my mom couldn't have kids.
Uh
She said,
huh.
right? So she had the whole thing going on there where she couldn't have kids. So it would have been harmful if she did. It could kill her. So she got her tubes tied and whatnot. So that went with the adoption option.
Okay,
Uh,
because with the FSB, she had some serious stuff going on inside and ended up with a hysterectomy in 1949. So it's not able to have. So let's look into adopting, and
mhm.
8 years. So it might well be that healthy male infants, white male infants, were at a
The
premium
premium.
even in the 1950s. But what you've
Oh
got,
yeah.
yeah, what you got going over here. I don't know if anybody can see this. Um, this article here about Department of Child Protection Services in Mississippi was doing something on adoption, and okay, this is Jackson, Mississippi here. We have to keep that in mind when we go a little lower in the article where criteria for adoptive parents, okay, legally single persons or legally married, persons, okay, that's a hint right there. Okay, you got to be over 21. They should have
Mhm.
sufficient wherewithal to take on a kid. This last one, individuals who meet accepted emotional, intellectual, and psychological standards to be
Mhm.
good parents. Now, that sounds interesting, do it not? I mean, a
Today's
little
day,
loose,
it's almost impossible.
because I think that may enshrine a desire to eliminate certain classes of people. Were I a
Yeah.
Mississippian looking to adopt a child, they would look at me and say, "Go to hell, you guy." Because, okay, I'm
Yeah.
a lesbian trans woman. No way would. And it's.
That would probably fucking blow their minds right there. They wouldn't know how to process that. You're a what? Wait,
Yeah, there you go.
you can hear it short circuiting.
And the unfortunate thing about this is that affects mostly the prospective adoptive parents. If you are in the appropriate class, say a healthy white male infant, you've got no problem with finding, having a family found for you. The waiting list indicates a premium. Now, on the other hand, you've got the kids who may have some physical problems or anything like that. They are going to be at a disadvantage because the prospective parent pool is now arbitrarily reduced. And I mean, they've got a hard enough time finding families anyway. So here comes another roadblock, which is all sorts of fun.
Yeah. Life's not like in the movies where the parents are going to look for a child to adopt and they see the poor little crippled child and they go, "Oh, we just fell in love." That doesn't happen in reality. I mean, it does, but they're small instances. It's not a widespread thing.
Now, okay, this is going to be a little strange, maybe, but
It sounds harsh, but
yeah.
it's the reality of it.
Have you ever experienced having your status as an adopted child used against you by an angry parent?
No,
Okay,
not at
you're
all.
very, very lucky. Oh my word, you are so lucky. Because
Yeah, I never have. I wouldn't know what that's like.
how many times it was said at me that we never should have adopted you, sort of given you back,
Wow.
any of that shit. And that, for the kids who experience it, has got to have an effect.
I'm sure.
This is somebody who, in one breath, tells you, "We wanted you because we went through the adoptive process and took you home," and at the next
Sure.
breath said, "That was the biggest mistake we ever made." And I don't know how many kids get that. I assume that it's not a small number. But
I don't know. I don't know enough to be able to make a call like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting what Tony Designs has to say here. Mississippi has huge problems, from drug addiction to intergenerational incest being almost normalized in some rural areas. Yeah, I can imagine that would present some problems.
Jesus.
Now, okay, Robert X says, if I was younger and had a partner, I would adopt. Maybe, has to be honest.
Of course.
I don't know that I would, because I've said many times it takes something very, 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 very special to be a parent. I ain't got it, and I know it. So, with the whole adoption thing, this is a time when you can actually exercise a choice in the matter. Well, you can now, as far as natural births are concerned. I mean, the pill appeared in the early '60s, but it's getting increasingly difficult to obtain it. And if the Christian right has its way, yeah. But yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's today it's kind of hard because you don't know where this is all going to end up. We don't know if they're going to end up overpowering in the government and things are going to turn into the fucking Handmaid's Tale type of thing, or whether or not they're going to go bye-bye and actual rational people get into power and start doing something more than what we're used to.
That's where it would be interesting to have Kate in here because she has some interesting ideas about that. But we'll have to do that again at another time.
Sure.
As I say, she had scheduling conflict, and it's unfortunate that she wasn't able to be here. But
and hanging out with her is a lot of fun because I did the Atheist Jeopardy out with her the other day.
Oh, you had mentioned that at me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I kind of wore this just for her today, actually. When you gotta make a little fun of the whole Disney Star Wars thing.
Oh, Tornado in a Junkyard has an interesting question.
Right, left, or center?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about your beliefs, so I couldn't put you in either of them yet.
Knowing you quite a bit better than Neil does, I'm going to put you on the Christian left. You're a very, very rational person. The
name's great.
Yeah.
One of those stupidest fucking arguments ever, but it's a funny name.
Yeah, he borrowed that from who was it? Was it Fred Hoyle that did that?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like a tornado in a junkyard putting a complete car together. Dude, that's not how it fucking works. Jesus fuck.
And Maya thinks that you have the coolest shirts, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Maya. I on Facebook, when I used to be on there quite a bit, they sure know how to target market me. That's for sure. I'll be flipping through the timeline. I go, oh, I like that shirt. I'm going to get that shirt, right? Because I got all kinds of cool. This is like one of those mashup ones. Because when Disney bought it, they came up with this, and I've got here. I'll show you another one that's kind of funny that I bought right around the same time that I bought this one, which I thought was just fucking awesome and had to have it because, of course, I love Deadpool and I also love Finding Nemo. So we got this one that says Finding Francis. It's got the Deadpool fish.
Oh my. Okay, so now you've got me on that one because I don't get out of the house much, so I don't.
Well, Finding Francis. Francis was the bad guy in Deadpool that he kept going to find. He was making fun of him because he would never tell him his name when the guy was torturing Deadpool. He would never tell him his name. So yeah.
Okay, then. Yeah, I don't get out of the house much. It's just the way it goes, and it takes income to do that.
Oh yeah, but have you seen Deadpool?
No,
the movie.
No.
Oh, if there's any superhero movie to watch, Deadpool's the one to watch because it's the one that breaks the fourth wall. So you've got to watch that movie, Dan. It's fantastic.
Oh my, and I love it when the fourth wall is broken.
Oh yeah.
If anybody in the audience doesn't recognize that phrase or anything, breaking the fourth wall is the characters, the actors, whatever have you, in a particular production interacting with the audience. Yeah. So there's one or two Woody Allen films where he employs that technique.
Oh, shit.
And yes,
they did Baseballs. They've done it, and Mel Brooks was famous for that kind of shit.
Yes,
having the character
absolutely
like look at the camera and interact with the audience.
Oh my! Yeah, let me get this. Here we go, and we're going to add you to the ever-growing non-naked list, Mistress Angelica. You get a spanner and fling it around as you will. Yeah.
Fling it around. Break any windows, okay, Angelica? Jeez. Spanners are heavy. They can break windows. A spanner. Bloody British people influencing us now.
Yes, absolutely. It's well, there's a certain British. What?
Is Tornado in a Junkyard a Christian? Like they're still a believer?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was one of the movie night panelists. As a matter of fact, he was our token Christian. He's a big sweetie. I love him dearly. And Mom NATO is also
We
a
could.
big sweetie.
Oh, oh, Tomnado in a junkyard. Is that what it says, or
No,
tornado?
it
I
says
can barely.
tornado, and then
Okay,
his mother began interacting with us on movie night, and she is known as Mominado.
that's great.
Yeah, she's a big sweetie as well.
Well, I've got theistic friends that we just really don't. Oh, there's Mom NATO.
Hi, Mominado! Yay! Oh my, this is great.
And atheists and believers can be friends. You don't have to talk about bloody religion and beliefs all the time.
Oh right,
I'm,
absolutely.
I'm friends with one that a lot of other atheists go head to head with, Craig Reed, right? Like him and I, all
Oh,
we ever
okay, okay.
we him and I talk about our music experiences and concerts that we went to and stuff like that. And we have great chats, right? So, and he knows that I'm not a believer and I'm not going to be reconvinced. You know what I mean? So, and I know that he's pretty staunch in his beliefs, so I'm not going to try to persuade him. Although I might throw little hints out here and there, but he just laughs them off anyways. It doesn't really matter. We have fun.
That sounds wonderful because,
Yeah.
I mean, well, personally, within reason, of course, I don't care what you believe. What I care about is what you do with that.
Yes, exactly. It's not your beliefs that make you a good person. It's your behavior.
Yes, absolutely. And Tornado and Momnado are exemplar as evincing the good side of that.
They
They
sound
are.
they sound awesome.
Oh, they are
I'm,
indeed.
I don't
Absolutely.
know. What you believe whatever you want. Just minimize your harm to everyone else and yourself, and we're good.
Yay. Um, see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that might come up on the subject here of. Can you think of anything we haven't covered?
Um, well, how about you? When you were growing up,
Okay.
um, did you come across any other kids that were adopted? Because I only knew of maybe a couple when I was a kid.
If memory serves me correctly, the first time I came across another adopted child was when I was in high school.
Right.
Who she grew up in essentially she came from essentially the same neighborhood as I did. Um, she was in an infant's home that was just down the street from the one I was in. Uh, and yeah, we had a little thing going there for a while in high school, and that would have been interesting. Um,
That's interesting that from a place right close to where you originated.
yeah, and we both noted that. Let's see, I think it was about 8 blocks between the homes, sort of thing,
Wow,
or
that's really close.
really close. Um, and I mean, since then I've come across many, but yeah, it was when I was, say, okay, wait a minute now. You're
Well, as we age,
usually,
our sphere of influence gets bigger too, right? So
yeah.
when you're a kid, it's basically just your neighborhood and a couple other outlier neighborhoods, maybe where you meet the kids.
I'm trying to remember how old you usually are when you're in 10th grade. Um,
10th grade, 15,
okay,
14, 15.
okay, I would have been 14 then when I encountered Deb, and
Hmm.
yeah, we had some wonderful conversations about that, as a matter of fact, and about a few other things.
There will be an adult version of this conversation later, folks.
Unfortunately, she leaned a little toward the woo.
Oh boy. Well,
Um,
I did too for a long time, dude. So, it
yeah,
happens.
she was a Wiccan, and more or less retained that
I
alliance
was
until the day she died. Yeah, I
It's
have
weird.
more and more
We're
friends dying on me. What the hell?
we're at that age, Dana. We're at that age.
Unfortunately. Oh
Yeah.
my, but
I just think It's interesting or unique. I think my case is fairly unique. Born to Christian/Catholics, raised by Jews, turned into a pagan Wiccan, then became an atheist in the long run.
Hey, there you go. Oh, there's
And
one
now
of
I'm wondering if that had influence on like all the because I've been to sort of the different spectrums of beliefs and realizing over time that this shit can't be real. Like I compared all the stuff for the Judeo-Christian, the Abrahamic belief systems with earlier mythologies, and it all just sounds the same. Like these stories, like talking animals and a global flood, which we know didn't happen. Like we know that
right.
didn't
We
happen.
absolutely know it didn't happen.
So then it just sounds like more mythologies to me. So why should I? It's one of those things. Like it's just now to the Judeo-Christian belief systems, all the Christianity, Judaism, Islam, it all is to me modern mythologies or more moderner mythologies is what I can say.
But you do bring to mind a question that has been in and out of my brain, and I might as well get it out there while it's in for now. Um, did you ever talk about being adopted with any of the other kids? And if you did, what was their reaction?
Oh yeah, I would when I first found out. I remember a couple of instances where I was running around thinking that I was something special, right? Because see, my parents had to adopt me because I'm awesome, and I'm running
Well,
around
you
saying shit.
are, but that's another matter
But,
entirely.
yeah, a few times it came up in conversations, right, where I would say, but then they would say, "Oh yeah, your original folks didn't want you," and I go, "That's actually not what happened, but okay," because my parents told me why I was put up for adoption when I was young, so I already knew that.
Okay, then, because it was interesting. I remember mentioning to a friend, oh, I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. I mentioned to Jimmy that I was adopted, and his immediate reaction was, "They buy and sell you like dogs." Boy, did he have the wrong idea. I mean,
Yeah,
there is money
holy
that
shit.
changes hands. It's court costs.
Yes, yes, yes. People, it is illegal to sell children. So if any children are purchased, it's on a black market of some kind.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
okay,
you
there
don't
we
sell
are.
a human being. Well, I guess they did a couple thousand years ago.
Man, it's amazing some of the stories about people who attempted to sell their kids,
Hmm. It's
for a
illegal. You
fix or
can't.
something, or a
I think
meal.
globally illegal. I remember when China had that one child per family law for quite some time,
Oh yeah,
and any females that were born were being thrown out with the bathwater, so to speak,
yes,
right? Because they'd want males. And now China's got a reproduction issue.
yes they do. Yeah, too many boys and too few girls. Oh
That's right.
man, oh my word. I still have a clogged up throat, and I quit smoking a year ago. God damn it. Oh well.
Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while.
Yeah, but yeah, that surprised the heck out of me. I talked to her about that. Yeah, she wasn't quite as crazy as she got later. Could actually talk to her. Um, yeah, and she did the whole explaining thing, and the kid had the wrong idea, and I saw the point, and everything was fine.
Mm.
But it was just too bad that I don't know where he got the idea from,
Hmm.
but he had that idea that the kids are bought and sold in the adoption system. Um,
Clearly, somebody that he trusted told him
yeah. Oh, interesting. Angie has something to say. Is China is very rapey too.
that. How do we know that? I know there's a
Um,
couple of families that are in China right now. One of them being people that from here, like white people that moved there, and a very good friend of mine's family over there. And it's not as common as you think.
okay.
The penalties for shit like that are severe, so it's not as common as you think. You read the odd headline where something happens like that. Japan, on the other hand, has a lot of issues with um, public molestation because everything's so cramped there. when you jump on subways and stuff. Like you always hear the stories of guys, copping feels or
Oh, the frottage thing and everything. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It happens so much over there that there's actually a line of Japanese pornography that's based on that now.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my,
And
oh my, oh my. This is not fun. What do we have here? Oh, tornado put together a very scathing rebuke of the global flood issue. There we go. Finally got it out after I was tripping over my own tongue there.
rebuke of the global flood issue. I don't understand what that means.
It
Oh,
sounds
he
like he
wants to
wants to
share it.
say
Yeah,
that he's objecting to the
I'd like
global
to hear it.
flood. Yeah.
I'd like to hear
Um, yeah. As far as that stuff goes, are you up for sticking around for a while, Neil, or
it. Of
do
course,
you
I
have
could stick
things
around
to?
for a little while.
Do you have, oh, okay. Danke,
Yeah,
danke schön. Um,
I'm gonna go. I'm going outside and, like you used to too. I'm gonna go have a smoke. So, and then
okay,
I'll
so
come back.
before you take off, you got anything going on? What's up in the near future?
Let me see. Where's my phone here? It's all my scheduling is. Oh, I'm staring at my phone. Where's my phone? You mean the one you're looking at?
Oh, okay, that's that one. That would be the one.
So this week I'm pretty much off. Monday, Wednesday.